Good evening, everyone. My name is Barney Johnson. I'm a classical composer, and I'm reaching you here from Andeauneuf-les-Bains. It's in the Bordeaux region of France, and I finally escaped Paris. My plan for this month of September 2022 is I have this Airbnb for 1 month. It's a studio, which I'm loving so much. It's just what I needed. And the reason why I'm here actually is just way cheaper than to live in Bordeaux. So that means I'm like a 2-hour bus ride from the city, which is quite a pain, and the buses aren't as reliable. And this is a slight problem because I do want to go to the opera, and I also need to take ballet class, but I guess I'll have to figure that out. And one thing I did is I bought a bike. I bought a bike because it's just the public transportation was not reliable here. So that's one thing I miss already from Paris, but I knew I would be missing out on that. And that's one interesting thing I learned is that sometimes you make decisions thinking you're going to save money, but then you don't save money. Because I was like, okay, well, I'll save money like just, living far out from the city, and I'll have like a bigger space and my own place for a fraction of the cost. But now I have to like pay extra for a bike. I had to pay extra. I didn't know I would need a bike. But it's really beautiful. I love biking. I haven't really biked since I was a kid. And I definitely want to do separate videos about like my ideas about biking. I think governments need to like make bike lanes and just make bike maps and like make it very, very easy for people to bike, for those of us who are physically able, because it is just beautiful. I just feel really good. I feel powerful. I feel in charge. I feel really relaxed. It's a great way to let off steam, like if I need to clear my mind, because versus like going for walks can be complicated in busy neighborhoods because you always have to bump into someone, you have to say hi, but the bike, it's kind of awkward. You pass other people on bikes and it's like no one knows if you're supposed to say hi, smile. It's just really awkward, but it's just more fleeting. So I really do like just going on my bike in the middle of the day just to clear my mind. So that's a good development. As far as my job search, so just a reminder, this month is kind of a make or break it month for me in France. So I have 2 primary goals. The first and foremost is I have to finish my orchestra piece. I originally wrote it in 2016, 2017, and then after moving to Paris and getting like a more refined ear, learning harmony, I realized there's a lot of things I wanted to fix. So now I'm finally fixing them. And let me tell you, it's a lot of work, okay? It's a lot of work. For example, right here, I have page 58, 57, 56, 55, 54. This is from the 4th movement of my orchestra piece. Okay, they're in opposite order because I like to have it that way. So I basically have pages 40 something, 46 to 58 of my manuscript. I'll show you a close-up. Yeah, let me show you a better page actually. Okay, so I have pages 48 or 46 to 58, so that's like 12 pages of the manuscript that I only read by hand. Typing is for later. You have to write by hand. The music is superior. It's superior when it's by hand. And I want the best music possible. And it's more enjoyable as well. So I have just 12 pages of music, and I have spent 15 hours on that. 15 hours. And I was very efficient. I decided what I did is, because there's a lot of repetition, so I just figured out what are the new events that occur and just kind of worked into the sections, and then I just have to spend the rest of the time copying down. So I'm doing a lot of copying down. Like for example, you'll see here in the strings, it's okay if you're not musicians, you'll see just a lot of the same stuff. So, but I had to physically write it out. Because if I do shortcuts and do symbols, which you can do in music, then I don't hear it as well. And I do like, this is like, I need to hear this. When I put it in the computer, I'll see what makes sense. It might make sense to simplify and put repeat signs, I don't know yet. And I'm not there yet. So what I'm trying to convey to you is that composition is a lot of work. It's not always the fun part where you're at the piano just like improvising and writing down. Here is like where you have to commit to paper, and you need to, and there's certain things like I'm revising the piece, so I'm looking at the original and figuring out what I didn't like or what's lacking and trying to make it better. So that actually saves time because I have like the piece done and I have like a model of structure. Otherwise, Lord have mercy, it takes so long. But like, for example, I'm listening to dynamics and I'm like listening, is this what I want? And there's times where, I think I need a piano. No, I need to push it off 2 beats. So there's all these little details. Like, I wonder if, can I show you, like here, the subito piano. I don't know if you can see. The subito piano means suddenly piano, suddenly quiet. And I think in the original I had it one place and I decided to change this another place. So there's all these like micro details. And it's so much work. And this is just what I just showed you today, which I've been spending 2 or 3 days on at this point, across 2 or 3 days. It is about maybe 2 minutes of music, if that. Maybe probably 1 minute and 20 seconds to 1 minute and 40 seconds. The entire piece is 35 minutes. Now, other parts are orchestrated, thankfully, and this part is particularly tricky because it's in the 4th movement, and my 4th movement is super, super precious. Okay? And when you finally hear this orchestra piece, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I actually would like to play excerpts from this piece, which I'll do in another video because it is very late here in France. It's like 12:30 or something. Don't want to wake up the neighbors. And I want to like practice a couple times. It won't be like, you know, the final perfect performance, but it'll give you an idea of the energy. And it's really quite something. This section I'm working on in French, I like to give my sections like nicknames, just so it helps you remember what it sounds like. Because if you just put measures 54 to 69, like no one knows it, like doesn't bring anything to mind. So this section is called Les Anges chassent les mâles. So what that would translate to in English would be like the angels chase away the evil spirits or something like that. And you definitely feel like these chariots, like fire chariots, and these angels like storming on these chariots and like zapping away this evil. There's like this urgency, but like the savior where like the crowd is watching, like, whoa, who are they? It's like all rockets and comets and and then it leads into the 5th movement. So this is what we call, in music, we call this attacca. Because usually there's a pause between each movement, which it's nice because it gives the audience time to cough. But that's not why they did it. I don't know why they did it. I mean, there's many reasons. But it's just nice to have like just a quick break, and then you do the next thing. It's also nice because, you know, maybe the orchestra might need to tune. They don't like to do that. But they just might need to turn their pages. It's just nice to regroup for a couple of seconds. But in this, the 4th movement goes directly into the 5th movement. And you will hear it, it's fantastic. So look out for another video with me playing excerpts from the 4th movement. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. So, like I said, my first goal while living here in Annonay-les-Bains is to finish my orchestra piece. I'm here for 1 month. I need to finish it within this month. But I will say it is quite a challenge. And this is one of the kind of dilemmas or the challenges that all composers, I think, have to go through, unless they're super rich, is I'm not getting paid to do this. Like, I'm doing this because I have to. It's my soul is screaming to get this piece done. But let me just tell you, the amount of work I've had to put into this piece. This is how I finished this in 2017, okay? And I've been revising for several years, but on and off, but now it's like go time. It's like, I need something done. the amount of work I had to put into this piece, there's no way I'm having a world premiere of this entire work and I'm not getting a substantial sum. I'm telling you right now. I'm not giving away this piece for free. I will workshop it, and I would really love to work with youth orchestras or volunteer organizations, kind of like quote lower level orchestras, to like workshop it. I think it would be a great experience for myself as well as for the musicians. I love being part of the rehearsal process. I love hearing, what works, what is difficult. I get so much information that way. But definitely for the final world premiere, all 5 movements, all 35 minutes of music, the amount of work, I made a promise to myself and it will not be broken. I'm getting paid for this work and I have a sum in my head. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I got to negotiate. But there is a minimum that I need because the amount of labor I have put into this piece is extraordinary. And when you finally hear this piece, I promise you will know what I'm talking about. You will, and you have to hear it live too. The recording never does justice. You got to hear it live. This is truly an exceptional work, and I can say that because I see it with my own eyes. I don't know where this music comes from. Okay, technically yes, it comes from my hand, from this mind, but I don't know how these things. Sometimes I listen to it and I'm in awe. So I feel like such a wonderful gift. I have this beautiful gift. And I want to bring it to other people. I want people to hear the music that I hear because what I hear is so beautiful. That doesn't mean like every second is like gushingly romantic. It just means it's something that is integrity. And I think music like this is the answer to audiences that are dying away or are not interested in classical music. This is a music that is of our time, but it's still rooted in the past. It doesn't deny the past, but it doesn't stay stuck in the past either. It speaks to the needs of today. So let's make this happen. Woo! I just choked on my water. I just choked in this water. Now, let me tell you, it's not my fault. This water here in Andres is not clear. No, I'm not talking about like, whoa. This is dangerous water. It's sick. It's sick water. It's sick tap water. Okay. Let me get to the way. My second goal, why I'm here, if I have my timer, I never do that. My second goal, why I'm here, is more urgent, seems more urgent. And yes, everyone would tell you it's more urgent, though I know better. I know my orchestra piece has to be finished. But the second goal is actually quite urgent. I need to find a job. I stopped teaching English in France because I was sick of teaching English. My heart wasn't in it. I could feel my soul rotting away. I could feel my soul was just deteriorating. I had to listen to my soul. I took too long to listen to. I should have made a career change at the beginning of this year, especially once it became clear that COVID was, withering away, shall we say. So I needed a job. I decided I'm not going to teach English anymore. I decided to move out of Paris. I didn't see any hope for myself in Paris. I don't see any opportunities for me. And so now I'm here in the southwest of France looking for work. Now, the work I'm looking for is I'm emailing my resume and cover letter to conservatories. And in France, there's a conservatory in every single town. Or almost every single town, but I don't know. They don't necessarily all have composition programs. It's the problem. That's less common. So there is a factor, but I put immense work into the cover letter and resume. I worked with my French teacher, my French writing teacher. I know it is fantastic. I know I have a very attractive application, but the reality is there are no jobs. Another thing I am a bit worried about, but there's nothing I can do about this possibility, so there's no point fretting about it, is that I'm worried that I'm not getting opportunities because I didn't go to the Paris Conservatory, which is like the Juilliard of France. And it is a reality that, that's what people consider the mark, the highest mark. And my response to that, and what I addressed in my cover letter, is I have far more experience than anyone that goes to that school. I have 20 years composition experience, composing my own pieces, rehearsing them, conducting the pieces, recordings of the vast majority of those pieces. Most people that study composition in France, they don't even hear their works. They don't ever get to hear their works. They're writing in someone else's style, then finally they get to write their own works, but they really have not heard their own works. And I can tell you, as someone who has been writing for 20 years, technically more, is the real teacher is hearing your works. The real teacher is rehearsing your works whenever possible. Then it's less possible these days. Rehearsing your works, hearing the performance live, I'm talking about live, and then finally a recording. There's a hierarchy. Okay, rehearsing is just so invaluable. Or just listening in the rehearsal is fine. You get to hear like the natural raw state of your piece. So I have that, which the vast majority of French people don't have. Even a lot of professional composers or who have positions at schools don't have that. I have 7 years teaching experience, which, some kid just out of the Conservatoire National doesn't have. So I have these things that I know I'm super qualified. I know, and that's the tragedy. So I know I'm super qualified. So I know that it shows at this point because I've had other people look at it. I know it's solid. My application's solid. So it's either an issue that there's no positions, or they just prefer to have someone that is from the Paris Conservatory. And I did get one response back, but it seemed like a generic response, so I can't really read into it. But they basically said my profile didn't match their expectations, blah, 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 blah. So, and it's just like at this point, I can't live forever in limbo. I gave myself like a date of like September 15th. By then, I'm just giving up. So until then, I guess I'll work some more. But I am starting to lose not so much patience, but it's getting to a point where I have to be more strategic because I want to invest more time in my orchestra piece. I also want to invest more time in my YouTube channels, because I have actually other channels. I have another channel for my teaching where I talk about composition, but from a teacher perspective, and where I hopefully will start analyzing pieces. And I have another one where I deal with politics. Very spicy. I'm actually going to film, after this, I'm going to go to the lake and film about immigration. And then I have another channel called France for the Anti-Tourist, where I think that's the channel I'm going to use, where I give kind of my perspective of what it's like to live in France, so that people have a realistic interpretation or expectation of what it's like to be here. Because I have had some very, very bad experiences in Paris. They weren't all bad, but there's certain things I want to warn people about, so that you can just save themselves headache and stress. There's things I wish people could have told me before I came. I came totally by myself. No one is here. I didn't know a single person here. So I'm hoping I can help people out that way. So long story short, I need to wrap up this job search. I'm just emailing out my resume, and I haven't been doing it much lately. I was going much harder while I was still in Paris, and it's just kind of naturally dying off. Anyone who's been in those job searches, where you're like, you want your dream job, but eventually it starts dying off, and that's where I'm at. Like, it's just naturally kind of decaying. I want to finish sending out my resume to all the schools in the Bordeaux region. That's really important because I really would love to stay here, especially since I bought a bike now. It would suck to give away my bike, and I really love my bike. I've also have been sending my resume to Strasbourg because I believe they have a good opera center there, but if not, I know they have a very cultural, a very high level of culture there, and that's essential. If I can't see opera, I might as well go back. Gotta be near an opera center. Though right now I'm starting to really stress out, not stress out, but I'm becoming very concerned that I'm not going to be able to afford to go to the opera. I'm not going to be able to afford to go to anything unless I have a radical change in my job situation. And so that's why now I'm kind of at the crossroads where I think I need to lay down this looking for a job in a conservatory for the central reason that what if I don't get anything? Then I'm going to be super screwed and I'll be behind on other goals that are more important, like composition. I can't sacrifice composition by no means, because then I'll be super poor. I'll be poor with money and poor in soul. I can't risk that. It's double poor, not okay. And actually it's like quadruple poor, because being poor in soul is far worse than poor in money. So I'm basically getting to this dilemma where I'm taking quite a gamble at this point in terms of not having real income, just kind of, living with no real income coming through, except from little parsley things here and there. It's quite a gamble, and what if I don't get the job I'm looking for? And that is becoming more and more reality, specifically because I'm not getting any responses. Very few responses. And I know that even the intro email is sexy. There's no way around it. Sexy in a good way. I'm talking about it's clear, it's concise, it shows power, it shows that I don't need the job, it shows that I'm just curious. I don't say I'm looking for a job. I just say this is my resume and cover letter just to have on file for future opportunities. I don't want them thinking that I need that job, because I don't. Because I'm ready to go back to America if need be, and it seems more and more to be the case, unfortunately. Aside from sending out my resume and cover letter to schools, I put up my ad for teaching services for composition in this region here. Actually, I put it just for this one town for now, Anderness-les-Bains, on Superprofs, which is like the main website that people use in France when they're looking for private teachers. There's Superprofs, and there's Le Bon Coin, but Le Bon Coin is like the Craigslist, so it's like, it's known for being a little sketchy. You might get something good, you might get something not so good. But Superprof, I believe the students have to pay a subscription fee or something, so it is more trustworthy. And I will say I have not paid the premium fee, but I think I probably should to increase my chances at this point. But again, it's becoming more and more of a gamble where I'm investing more and more stakes in a country where I don't know if it is worth it anymore, because quite frankly, if I'm not able to secure a job in France, I will perceive it as my services are not valued and my talent is not valued, and I will go back to America. So that's why I don't know how much more money I can invest, because I'll tell you, this whole summer, I went into more and more debt. I had to build a website, and this is my fault. I should have started this years ago. I should at least start this 1 year ago after my recital in Paris, because I felt this vacant boredom coming. And I thought, oh, it's just because it's summer, no one's around, but it really is my soul so I can get back in composition. And so, yeah, it's partly my fault, but then I had to make a website, I had to buy a camera so I could start filming for my videos, I had to get all the equipment, I had to just learn a lot of skills. And that's one side note, that's one thing I think that separates successful people, even though I don't feel very successful in this moment. But it's one thing I think that does separate successful people from less successful people, is that successful people are not scared to learn new skills. And that's something I notice with myself. I recognize there are skills that I need. I had to learn certain, I spent a lot of time on the cover letter and resume. I thought I knew how to do it. I didn't. Now when I write a cover letter and resume, do you know the trick to make a sexy resume and cover letter? I mean, I'm talking about something that sparks, that says something, that leaves something in the mind, one that you never forget. You know the secret? So you write something that people will never ever forget, something clear in a good way. You know the secret is you write it by hand. all the work for my cover letter and resume, I wrote all by hand. Now, don't believe I didn't send it out by hand. Then I typed it up, and I tried to keep it as much as possible to the original shape and design intention. Because when you create things by hand, the results are superior. Going back to my music, there's a reason why. Well, I don't want to criticize composers that write in a computer, but you can tell at a certain point, and they can only get to a certain level because you're limited. The computer limits you. Your hand, your brain is far more flexible than the computer. But with the computer, you have to adapt to how it can think. Which is why, going back to my cover letter, I made sure to do all by hand, and I typed it up, and it was beautiful. It's beautiful. I'll show you one day, maybe. So long story short, I'm starting to see that it probably isn't going to work out with a conservatory level position. And to be honest, in America, I don't have much faith that it would work out either, because I don't have a doctorate yet, and I don't see the point of getting a doctorate if I can't even get, like what is the goal that is awaiting me if I have my doctorate, okay? I need my work Helpisontheway programmed, or I need to get it programmed. So it's another reason why I'm going to end this job search soon, because I need to get this program, but if I'm going to live in France, then I'm going to be contacting French orchestras, because I would like to be able to visit and travel. But if I'm going back to America, then I would be contacting American orchestras. So it's another thing where it's just, oh yeah. There's a lot. Final thoughts. I would say I don't love this town, but I'm really happy, I have to say. I made the right choice by getting out of Paris. I feel way calmer. I'm way more productive. Part of that is having my own studio, which I've never had before. Part of that is just like less distractions. I don't live in a dormitory anymore, so another nice thing is I can just cook whenever I want to and I don't have to deal with other people. I really, really love this. I definitely need this going forward. Less good is I still have noise issues. There's I'm by a busy street. You can't hear it now, but there's buses that pass by. There's motorcycles, which I can't stand. I hear drilling. I hear people doing construction. The guy was mowing the lawn on a Saturday morning. So I think going forward, I got to just make sure I find really a perfect living situation going forward. But that requires a job. I've been going to the beach a lot because I didn't get to go to the beach all summer because I was working so hard. And I really love going to the beach. I was in these waves, and I want to do literature more, because I want to describe the feeling of going inside these waves. It was like going inside of a roller coaster. I felt like I was a little kid going inside a roller coaster. I don't need to go on a roller coaster because I can go inside the waves. And they were big, and they were splashing me around. Even my contacts fell out at one point. Luckily, I had spares in my backpack. And in fact, I had to bike 20 kilometers to get to that beach. So I'm going on quite an adventure. I composed all morning, and then the afternoon I was at the beach. And yeah, I love the foam of the waves, this white foam it's so pure and beautiful. It's like seeing the foam in a waterfall. You know how that white foam collects? That's what I see, and it's white waves coming at me and and it was, now that I'm talking about that, I want to go back again tomorrow, but I actually need to take a ballet class very soon. I could feel my body getting tangly. It's been over a week, but I'm a little scared because it's 2-hour bus ride just to get to Bordeaux, so that's a big investment. And then what if, I show up, there's no class? But I think I'm going to do it tomorrow, though I would love to go to the beach. I will be doing more videos, specifically with my bike. I want to show my new bike. It's not fancy, but it makes me really happy. I want to do more videos at the beach for sure. I want to do more videos with the nature I see. There's some beautiful shots there's a lake I want to shoot at. So even if I end up unsuccessful with my job search, I want to have some beautiful, beautiful memories of my last kind of days or months in France. Have a wonderful night.